Okay, welcome to the We Team call on Monday, July 13th, 2020. And we're gonna do a slightly different format this time for today's meeting. I'm going to just kind of tell the purpose of these meetings, and then I'm going to turn things over to Shannon Crossbear, who will be moderating the rest of the meeting. So basically the idea of these meetings is for people to interact, the people who are working on various projects and coordinating the various campaigns to get updates from them. Sometimes, if there's anything up personally, uh, people can share that, but then especially to share what they're doing with regard to one or more of the 11 campaigns for change. And especially as we approach 11 days of global unity, September 11th through 21, there's a lot of organizing around that. We'll be talking about that, but basically that's it. So this way, when people share their updates about their particular things that they're doing, it may inspire or allow other people to hear something that maybe there's a way that they can support people that they're listening to. And that is also an important piece of this, that people who are working in certain campaigns could request support from others in terms of what they're doing. So it's like an exchange of support and information and connection and all of that. And with that, let us welcome Shannon Crossbear, and take it away, Shannon.
Well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending upon where you're at in the country. Just to frame where I'm located, I'm in northern Minnesota on the shores of Lake Superior in the homelands of the Ojibwe people, of whom I am a member of the Lake Superior Ojibwe. I am really thinking about, I've been talking to Rick and talking to a few others about how we have this opportunity to be together and how we can best use the time that we have together on these calls. And I think Rick did a great job of kind of outlining the purpose of this particular call, which is to give check in with each other. We're human beings and we want to support each other first and foremost. Second, to be able to give updates to each other and to ask for help if we should need it, or to put an idea out, that kind of thing. And so that's kind of the purpose of these calls. And we haven't really set, it's been kind of free flow, and that's worked. So we want to make sure that we respect everybody. And I think one of the things that I've done in facilitation is to really have an opportunity to kind of say what it is we need to create a covenant of safety for ourselves, a covenant about how we're going to behave with each other on these calls and with our time together. And so that's one thing I would like to kind of introduce today about what is it, have us think a little bit about what is it that you might need in order to feel safe on these calls, feel like you could be totally present and participate fully and get your needs met as well. So, so as we're doing the updates today, if you have something that you would like to contribute to this covenant of safety at the end of the call, we can take a look at it. We can put it out to other participants in the call to see if there's things they want to add, if there's things they agree with. So how does that sound to folks on the call? Okay. That thumbs up. Sounds like an okay thing. So because the whole idea of, you know, as we move into a we way of doing things is that we are inclusive, right? Inclusive of our thoughts. So one of the things that I feel like I would need is just an opportunity to be heard. Um, and for me, that would mean that we are respectful of each other in terms of the limited time we have on this call. And at the same time, knowing that we can pick up conversations at another time to go deeper into something, or, you know, if there's another opportunity. We also have other calls that are very specific in terms of their focus. And so if there's an announcement you want to make about one of those calls, we could do that. So I'll unless there's somebody else who's really better at keeping notes. And Jana, are you keeping notes? No. Okay. So maybe what I would be willing to do is, if you do have a word that would contribute, or a thought that would contribute to creating this covenant of safety, if, I can attempt to write them down. And if I miss anything, you know, at the end of the call, we can kind of revisit, or we can put it on the documents. And that way, if we want to add, subtract, we can do that kind of thing. Does that make sense to folks? Great. So I want to welcome you, Natalie. I haven't met you, and I'm so glad that you showed up. My granny always said that 3/4 worth of anything is just making sure you're there, right? So I'm glad that you're here, and would love you to share anything that you want to share with this group, and let us know how you got here.
Great. I am having a little bit of technical issues. It keeps saying that I have some external audio thing, so I may get kicked out and I just have to click and get back in. But hi, everyone. I am in Los Angeles, the Woodland Hills area of Los Angeles, California. Staying home, wearing a mask, doing all that fun stuff. And I've been listening to Humanity Rising for the last couple of months through this. My husband and I come back every morning from our walk, and like the first thing we do is go on to Humanity Rising at 8 o'clock. It's just been inspiring, and I wanted to reach out in some way and be able to help in some way, help uplift humanity, and however I could be of service. And so I was on there one day and found the organization and went on and said, okay, I'll volunteer. And I have no idea what I'm volunteering for, because I didn't get a chance to finish. I got an email and I'm like, there was a lot going on. So however I can be of service from, you know, obviously where I am. My background is in cranial sacral, Reiki, Ayurveda. So I do a lot of the sort of healing modalities, and was just starting a business, you know. And then the pandemic hit, and just, you know, it kind of was a redirection of what I could do. Is obviously I can do a lot of those things online and some that I cannot, but it's shifted obviously everyone and myself into a different direction. And with that, more into sustainability. And we bought a house, my husband and I, last year, and have a garden. And it's like, how can we help the earth? Like yesterday, looking at how to get rid of the plastic in our house, and how to, you know, how to become a sustainable, you know, just human on this planet, and how to uplift. And so, like, with like-minded people like all of you here in this platform. And I do remember Rick because of the Kermit. I remember in the back seeing Kermit. So I think that's how I probably got into this. So anyway, but that's a little bit of myself and however I could be of service, and I'm glad to be here, and thank you for listening.
Thanks, Natalie. Is there anything that you would add to a covenant of safety? I know that you're pretty new, but what do you need? Yeah.
You know, I do that with a practice of having clients and that sort of thing. So it's already, everything here is here and sacred. And how can I be of service? And what do I need to help move the ball forward? But, you know, and just to be present,
Okay,
I think presence.
great. Thank you. Thank you. And
Sure.
I'm really, really glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's always interesting to me because that's the story about how we're coming together, right? So, and how the directions get changed to lead somebody somewhere. So, great.
Right.
Thank you. And hopefully, Natalie, I think as you listen, you will hear about the 11 campaigns,
Yep.
and you can kind of get a sense of where do I feel like, what sings to me, what pulls at my heartstrings, right?
Right.
And
Right.
my skills. And so thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna just go. I've got kind of the Brady Bunch thing happening here. I think I'll go to Sue. Sue, you wanna share what your updates are? And it's good to see you, by the way, Sue.
I've missed you, Shannon. And yeah, it's wonderful to be here with you guys. And I'm going to share my screen to share with you what, host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you let me share?
I think that's up to Rick. Is it up to you, Rick?
I'm gonna select it, so it should be okay now.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
you now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what's happening. I'm right now on the notes page that Rick sent to us.
Sue,
And yeah,
I think it might be helpful, at least I think, just to kind of say what campaign you're working with.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Sue Blythe. I'm in Gainesville, Florida, and I am coordinating the environment campaign. And here I've put into this is our We Team meeting agenda that I can put the link in when I'm finished here. But basically, we are starting a climate collaboratory that's been in development since October. And so the point that we're at right now is getting ready for the 11 days of global unity. We're going to be calling these the gardens. So I'm changing these to the gardens of global unity. And so the first one is the Garden of Unity. And what we're doing is using the Earth Charter as a guide and kind of the framework of a story, what I call a collaborative storytelling adventure with cartoon characters and people like the sage in Shannon Crossbear and the sage in Sue Blythe and the sage in Jana Larson. And so we are telling a story. It's a new story for humanity so that we can share with the children what we as the elders have learned in our lifetime of experience and help to kind of seeing it as a relay that we are carrying our torch just as far as we can. And when it's time to pass it on, we have somebody who's running right beside us or walking right beside us on this road through 2020. And we're going to 2030 when we will what will we do? We will achieve all of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and we will go through 2050 when we're going to draw down the excess CO2 from the atmosphere, and we're going to live in a peaceful and healthy planet. And so that's what I'm doing for my grandchildren, if you please. And so I'm asking for help from all of you. So as we go through our talk today, what I'd like to do is just kind of listen. I'm going to be taking notes, watching for what people are doing that we can put into these gardens of global unity. So for each one of the themes, unity, interdependence, environment, economic justice, and all the rest, we're going to be looking at these same 4 themes, and these are what they call the pillars of the Earth Charter. And each of these pillars has 4 principles for living in a sustainable, just, and peaceful world. So the 4 are respect and care for the community of life, ecological integrity, social and economic justice, democracy, nonviolence, and peace. And the way this is going to work is that, let's say we are in our storytelling mode going into the Garden of Unity. And it will be this beautiful place that looks a lot like a nature festival. And we have booths all around, and we have lots of excitement happening. And certainly we can do this virtually if we can't do it in real life. And so we will come to the coordinator of each of these gardens and ask, so what is happening in your garden? And how can we help to support what people are doing? How can we grow seed ideas that people are working on? Maybe you have a plan for a Welcome to We Show, which we do on the 3rd Tuesday of each month, or whatever it is that you have planned. We would like to be able to show in some way in our little storytelling adventure. So these are the 4 themes. I'll be listening as we go through today and each of the Monday meetings and see if we can't get something wonderful to show when we get to these gardens in September. That's it for me.
Great. Sue, did you have a word or something for the covenant that would be important to you?
Unity,
Unity. So,
we consciousness.
okay, so we consciousness on this call is important. Okay,
Yes.
got it. So thank you. Thank you, Sue. That was great. I'm like all excited. And I just wanted to let you know, as long as we're on someplace together, I did get your email and I will be responding.
Thank you. Yes.
So Angel, welcome, sun-kissed. Sun-kissed Angel, look at that. Love it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Angel.
Hi, Angel.
So I don't have a ton to share because I've been working with everybody to get their plans together. So I will let them share what they're actually doing. It looks like Yvette is not here. So for her, she does have a plan. She's going to do a Freedom Film Festival for the 11 Days of Global Unity. And Natalie, that runs from September 11th through the 21st. We certainly have a lot going on right now, so we can definitely find a space for you. I'm kind of the coordinator of coordinators, so Jana and I will definitely be working closely with you to find you some work to do for sure. So yeah, Yvette is doing the Freedom Film Festival. A lot of you do have some plans in place, and I will let you all speak about that. And I think that's pretty much it from me.
So Angel, is there a word that you want to contribute to kind of this call and this covenant of safety?
Sure. I would say support. It's very
Thanks,
important that
Angel.
we all have that. You're welcome.
And I'll probably be getting a hold of you a little later because I need support in something and you may be able to help me.
I'm here.
Okay. So I see that Heidi's on, but she's not on. Oh, there she is. So hi, Heidi, welcome. We have a new person on our call. So Natalie's on our call today. So yeah, so welcome. Sharon. Hi, I'm so glad to see you.
Good morning. I'm glad to see everyone else. Thank you. I just want to start with my word so that I can adhere to it. And it's not one word, Shannon, but it's respectful of each other's time. You know, to keep your updates as short as possible, but as thorough as possible. So for me, I am one of the co-coordinators for the Peace Campaign. And I'm also wanting to do more. Michelle Reed is the main coordinator, and she has a very vibrant program about getting peace more into the prison system. I have relationship here in Arizona. Oh, sorry, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Welcome, Natalie. And I have a relationship with the prison here, women's prison. She has many relationships with Native and male prisons. So we're collaborating on that, and I'm just trying to come up to speed because she has a plethora of organizations that she is communicating with. But along with helping her, since I'm more helping her, I wanted to do something of my own, and I don't see Brianna on the call, but I understand that she may have had or still has some health challenges. And so what I was doing was sending her every Wednesday something about no judgment, just love, and we. And with her permission, which I will email her, I'd like to go ahead and take over the social media on Facebook for the Peace Campaign to relieve her of some things and also get me more vibrant there. So I understand what Michelle is doing more. And my offering is going to be no judgment, just love and communication. So to that end, that's one separate section. I am starting a small podcast on this Monday for 8 times. And it's on Facebook. Who should I send it to? Shannon, Jana, Angel? Just the little announcement blurb for the calendar?
Yeah, they might have, I don't know who's taking care of the calendar. Would that be you, Angel, and you, Jana? Jana.
Oh, Jana. Hey,
Yeah.
Jana, babe. How are you?
But definitely, definitely send it to me, and I'll get it out to people I know.
Okay, I'll just CC everybody. Anyway, it's called Conscious Communication and the Practice of No Judgment, Just Love. And it very much aligns with peace in my perspective, because if we are unable to communicate authentically, and as you say, Shannon, with a freedom of space and to be able to say what you need, it's very difficult to achieve whatever your definition is of peace. So that's that. The last thing I wanted to say is that I am applying for here in Scottsdale, the Scottsdale Leadership Program, which is a year-long program to be introduced to many of the departments and what our city does. It's class number 35, so it's been around for that long. I've been here 23 years. Always wanted to be a part of it, but raising children was prohibitive. So in that vein, once I get accepted, if I do, I'd love some support and being able to just share in the group what I'm learning. So thank you.
Great, thank you. So exciting. Yeah, I'll be keeping my fingers crossed for your leadership, because you're already a leader. This will just be, icing, right?
Thank you. And let me just real quick say, one of the things I would love help with is the prices outside of my budget at the moment is $3,000 to be in this. They do have a stipend, but they very clearly say on the application, this will not cover the whole thing. So it starts January, which is plenty of time. I'm going to seek out some kind of sponsorship possibly. So if anybody has suggestions of who I can ask, that would be well received by me. Thank you.
Okay. Jana, how about, it's good to see you too. I kind of missed a couple weeks here, so I'm very happy to be back.
Hi, I'm Jana. I'm in Deerfield, Ohio, which is northeast part of Ohio, close to New York, Pennsylvania, everywhere. Let's see, my word, hope. Hope that things don't get worse, but I fear they will. Hope that schools don't open until, well, this is on. I'm babbling. I'll just say I have hope. I work on the calendar, help Angel with volunteers, and just sort of behind the scenes person. And I'm helping with the economic justice campaign for outreach. Pretty much it.
Thanks. So economic justice what's been happening with the economic justice campaign?
Well, I'm doing outreach. So the calendar, putting things on the calendar is a good way to get the outreach out there, and I can help everybody with their campaigns. For this new calendar is a little bit of a different animal, and to me, I mean, some things are easier, some things I think are a lot harder. So if you need help, I'm here to help. And let's see. I am friends with Mary Aguilera from the Poor People's Campaign, and we're still very connected. And she is also in the education program down in Cincinnati area, which has been very hard hit by the virus. And she made up her mind yesterday she's not going back to school. And so she's being very vocal on that. We're sharing each other's posts about anything to do with economic justice, mask wearing, anti-fracking, Ohio waterways, everything. We're working back and forth and with each other. So I'm sure we're going to stay in touch and stay coordinated. And then also I'm very active with the LGBTQ education and awareness focus we're taking.
Thanks, Jana. That's awesome. I look at you and I always think of all the social justice, right? As well. So
Yes,
I'm grateful
anything
for that.
And there are a lot of neat new things going on the calendar. You can just, I noticed when I went to our website that if you go to the top left tab for the global calendar, it doesn't work as well as if you go to the right side of the website and click on the global calendar. And I don't know if that's a glitch on my end or what. Maybe Angel knows, but anyway, it's really pretty interesting and gets your eyes right away, especially when you can get those pictures in there. So, good luck.
That's really helpful information. So I know where to click because I'm a little challenged. Well, a lot challenged, but we won't talk about that right now. So thank you. Thanks. Let's see. Well, I just see all these great faces and my screen keeps changing. So, Boji, how about you? What's happening with you?
Oh, hello there. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, my word is persevere. We are in challenging times now, and also individually, we need to persevere and realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Currently, I'm working towards I'll be hosting a virtual event next week of the UN. I'm focusing on climate change, the impact of climate change and building back communities, particularly in Africa and the Caribbean. And I'll be sending the Save the Date out to Rick and Sharon. Hopefully this week it should be ready. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm focusing on Africa and the Caribbean. I'm of mixed parentage. And basically how do these both continents build back after climate related disasters and more particularly the impact of COVID-19 on the African continent and also the Caribbean region. There'll be a 2-hour virtual meeting with the UN next Thursday, and I'll share it out, and I hope you'll come on board and give me support. You know,
Hey.
virtual support is going to be a very busy day. You know, there are quite a few member states on board, and so is the PGA and the Secretary General. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm focusing on the Caribbean region and Africa.
So Ugoji, how is it that we can support you? Do we need to come online? What is it? What are the ways that we can support you?
Well, if you could support me by coming online, because I'll be moderating the program, and also if we can join together to say what are the next steps afterwards, because you know it's easy to have a meeting at the UN, and what is going to be the next steps after? What are we going to do going forward afterwards? You know, the outcome from it, expected outcomes. How can we as members of civil society, how can we take it to the next level? Because we find that at the UN, there's a lot of talking, but we need to implement this, you know, especially at the grassroots level. So basically, if you can help me by other NGOs or the organizations, more particularly in Africa, the Caribbean and the small islands and developing states, because basically they are really at risk with the devastating impact of climate change, and with this new challenge to them, that of COVID-19. So basically, how can we take this a step forward in addressing these challenges in Africa and the Caribbean?
Right, thanks. So Ugoji, if you could give us the link, maybe if you can do that for the program on Thursday, so everybody has that.
Yeah.
That would be
As soon as I get it from the mission, I'll send it on to you, okay?
okay, great.
It's-
Great.
Yeah.
So was there as we talked about the covenant of safety, was there a word or something that you feel would be important to include in that?
Sorry, you're talking to me?
I am, yes.
Oh, I thought perseverance.
Okay.
You know, we're in a world where it's so easy to become despaired with what's going on, and we then have the additional challenge of COVID-19. So I thought perseverance, you know, we have to basically fight the good fight and keep on going. You know, we know that at the end of the day, there'll be a light at the end of the tunnel. So basically, to me, it's the word perseverance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It kind of brought to mind something that Rick, did you have your hand up, Rick? Okay.
Yeah, he does.
Hey, Rick, I'm calling on you.
Okay, thank you. I just, before you go, before we go on to the next person, Ugoji, I just wanted to ask you about this meeting, or there are two things. One, is there a way to connect We the World with the meeting that we are supporting the meeting, or helping in some way, or just to mention We the World as also being involved and interested in these issues that you're bringing up at the meeting?
Well, the agenda has already been done, but since I'll be opening the meeting, then I could put in a few words.
Perfect. That's what I was thinking.
I'll be opening the meeting before across to the PGA. Then I could, since the mic will be open, then I could say, if I could mention.
Yeah, I mean, just mentioning We the World and the idea of making that shift to a we-based society, right? Which would affect all of the subject matter that you're going to be going over with the meeting. Maybe.
Okay, so what
Just
you
as
could
an
do, Rick,
idea.
if you could sort of, yeah, if you could send me a few lines so I can put it into my script as I open up.
Good. Yeah. Or you could, I mean, if you don't want to take up too much time, you could just say that you are one of the coordinators for We the World and our We campaign, which is,
Okay, just
you know,
just
at
put
We
a few,
done it. Okay.
yeah, put a few lines in and email it to me, okay? So I could put it into my script as I'm opening up.
Great. All right. Well, thanks. That's, I think we'll, Rick, are you kind of complete? He looks like he got frozen. He's having a little difficulty, technical difficulty on my end. So why don't we just move to Catherine. Hi, Catherine.
Hello.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. So I missed the very beginning, but I got that you each are contributing a word. So I guess my word would be hear, to hear.
Okay.
Sometimes we listen, but we don't hear. So I think that that would make a good contribution if we actually heard what people say. I would say at this point, I don't really have a coherent plan. I have a couple of ideas and a couple of things that I am planning to do. One is, well, first, my name is Catherine, and I host a program called Heart of Mind on WBAI Pacifica Radio and the Progressive Radio Network. So I want to cover everybody's campaign on the radio programs to sort of put out a general idea of what's happening this year. I've been doing it for a number of years, covering the overall campaigns with Rick and with some of the big events that have taken place. But starting last year, I wanted to start covering the individual people who are involved with the individual campaigns, because my thought is that sometimes people feel too separate from engaging in activities. And when they have a chance to hear everyone, they can see, well, this is just another person like me who's doing their bit. And maybe if I did my little bit in the world, then I can also find a way to contribute. So I like not just talking about events that are happening, but the journey that brought people to this work. And I find that that's the most inspiring part of sharing the message with people. So I want to do that with everyone. I have a little difficulty with scheduling and stuff. So probably I'll be, again, looking for someone to help me, you know, connect, making all these connections and scheduling it. But that's one basic thing that I'll be doing. Just normally I would be doing that because it's what I like to cover on the radio show. But in terms of the campaign that I'm coordinating is health, which is very relevant today with the virus and stuff. So I've done a tremendous amount of research on the various ways that people are looking at the COVID-19 virus and the various things that are making people vulnerable to it. And I'm feeling and finding that the most powerful cofactor is not what particular physical condition you might have, but poverty in general. So if you look at, in terms of, they're saying, well, it's Black and Latina people who are highly affected, but
that is because of the poverty that a large majority of these people are living in, which means they're living in close spaces, so there's a high infectivity rate, and they don't have access to natural immune boosting therapies because they're too expensive. They end up going into hospitals where they're prescribed medicines that often make them more vulnerable to the virus as well. So there's a lot of all these cofactors with regard to poverty. So I want to look at that. And I also want to build a series on cost-effective ways to uphold and build the immune system so that people can just be stronger in the face of disinfection or anything that comes down the road in the years to come, because I doubt that this is going to be the end of it. And so, so there's that piece. And then the other piece, you know, I look at health from a much broader perspective where there would be an intersection with what other people do, because I'm very much interested in environmental health and people living in toxic environments being a reason for their inability to maintain health, or their not having access to just basic healthy food. So there's a lot of intersection, and I haven't quite worked out the dynamic of how to present it, but that's what I have in mind at the moment.
Okay. At the moment, yeah. Thank you. That's, yeah, I've done quite a bit of work in in disparities as well, health disparities, and continue to see how it is affecting our world and our communities, right? So, thank you.
So in that instance, we could maybe work together on that piece as part of what I'm doing with health as well, or with anyone who's doing something that intersects with health.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Sue lifted her hand as well, so I think we're there with you.
Okay.
So it's okay. I had a little temporary glitch in my computer here, but it looks like it's back on now. So Alana, how about you? Good to see you.
Hi. Okay, so I am Alana. I am in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I have recently joined the WE team to come on and help with fundraising and getting donors and other prominent organizations to work with us and help us spread our voice so that we can be all that we are here to be. It's really exciting to get to hear from everybody who's spearheading these campaigns. This will be my first year being involved on this whole thing, and it's just really exciting to see so many heart-centered people all in one place that are here to serve humanity and are holding the vision of a new earth together. Like, this is where it happens, you guys. This is the changing of everything, and it's super scary and it's super intense. And my word that I would like to share is trust. Trust is really big right now, and right now my children and I are actually homeless. We're living in a hotel in between homes right now just because there isn't anything available, and it's definitely not ideal. And I know that I am luckier than most to have a roof over my head. And it's really like we've just begun to see the effects of what this is going to bring. But with all of the sort of uncertainty is a really beautiful opportunity to come in and create massive reform. And you and I, all of us know that at the very top levels, nothing gets done, and everything has to come back to the communities. And I think we all share a vision worldwide, globally, of really not only helping our own community, but helping other communities reach out and have a sort of different narrative that we can follow globally and create a society where no one's left behind, where all are cared for and fed and nurtured and have the opportunity to have clean water and education and a right to health care and all of these things that are human rights in my opinion. So I'm very excited to be with such a group of pioneers, really, of leaders of this new earth that we're holding that vision for. And so I'm very new. I have been working with Heidi Little for the International Children's Month campaign we did last month. So I am a little bit involved, but I'm really excited to kind of just jump in and find out where I can also serve and share my gifts. So thank you for having me and letting me be a part of this really awesome organization.
Thanks, Alana. So good to hear you. I've been watching you a little bit on your when you've had some live stuff going on, and so I'm putting my energy toward great
Thank
resolution and abundance for you and for your family.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. So I don't know if Heidi is with us. I mean, she kind of pops in and out. It looks like she has some other things going. So maybe, well, Heidi, are you there? Are you? No, I think she must be attending to a little one. So if she comes back, we'll circle back around to her. So how about you, Bree? So who else do we have? Astrid? Hi, Astrid.
Hi. Oh, I knocked you down. Good timing.
Oh, look how fast I got up. I mean, that's like amazing.
So, still kind of figuring out the trend of the whole word thing. My word would probably be hunger. Because the word is associated with a basic human need, and it's also something that can describe the feeling of needing to reach a goal and needing that to be fulfilled. And I think that really can go far when you're thinking about humanitarian efforts and the 11 campaigns. And I think it really applies to all of them, is that we're all hungry for change and we are all craving that in a sense. And you can do a lot of analogies with food because everybody understands food.
Now you're making me hungry.
You're welcome. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry. But I did a little bit of work with International Children's Month. A lot of my efforts currently are focused on the We Come in Peace concert that is sponsored by International Children's Month and Omnipresent Entertainment, which is Heidi's company. I am a children's and youth ambassador for that campaign, and then I also do quite a bit with the human rights campaign as far as LGBT community specifically. Recently, I did an LGBT education seminar as a Facebook Live event, as well as 2 different Instagram live streams. And then I've also been continuing to meet with people one-on-one in order. Yep. It's okay. Sorry, I'm at a friend's house. So, along with that, more recently, I'm located in Northeast Ohio as well. I'm 17, so I am still trying to figure out how I can best be utilized as a youth voice and working on those kinds of projects. Again, I've been working mostly on the We Come in Peace concert, as I am organizing the performance event that goes with the Artists Who Share concert, and that's a revitalization event from Minneapolis. We're doing fundraising in order to rebuild, and we're actually working directly with George Floyd's family, so there's a lot to be done and talked about from that perspective. More recently, I kind of have been stepping back a little bit as I've had quite a few different health concerns come up. I am hard of hearing with moderate to severe hearing loss. And so I have been having lots of doctor's appointments recently to work into getting a bone anchored hearing aid implant. So there's just, it's kind of been crazy with some misfortunate circumstances lately, as well as some doctor stuff. So I have kind of been out of it lately, but I am ready to jump back in. And if anybody wants to work on a project or anything, I am available to do that once again. I know that I kind of had to step back on some projects that I was planning on being very actively participating in. But there were just some unforeseeable circumstances that were unavoidable. I cannot speak today. But yeah.
Well, thank you, Astrid. And I think that's happened at least for several of us, you know, and we want people to take care of themselves. So when things or circumstances are in your life that you need to step back, you know, we honor that and know that the door is open for whenever you're in a space that you can kind of re-enter. We'll hold that for you. That's one of the beauties about operating with a we mentality, is that it really allows for that to for all of us. The first priority is taking care of ourselves, and in that way we take care of each other. So thank you, Astrid. So I see Heidi's back with us. So hi, Heidi.
So hi, everybody. Yay. Nice to see y'all. What's happening? Are you running the show today?
So Heidi, a couple of things, just want to kind of orient you. So one is that at the beginning of the call, we talked about contributing a word toward kind of a safety covenant of safety, or how we want to operate, or how we're showing up and what we need. So if, and then kind of structuring it so, loosely structuring it so that everybody does that and then gives a little bit of an update to, and if there's any help that they need to ask for them. So that's kind of the, and I know you were taking care of Bridger, right?
Always, always.
So we were so you'll have to give him a big hug for me.
He's fun and very smart.
So also kind
He's
of,
giving me a run for my money.
Yeah. So
okay,
Heidi,
so what do I do? I got
so
updates.
Heidi, one of the things that might be helpful is Natalie is kind of new to the call.
Okay.
So I'm asking people to identify the campaign that they're with, and then to give a brief update about the activities that they've been involved with. And I know you have so many, but you know, we'll do what we can.
Okay, well, thanks. Hi, Natalie. Let me open the door for Bridger, please. Sorry, he's banging at it after he locked himself out. And I can't open it that way, so you're gonna have to ask Hannah to help you. I don't have the apparatus to open the door. He took the door handle off. So I'm locked in my room. Aren't I lucky?
Hi, Heidi.
Hi, everyone. Yay. So just get your sister to help you. Get a pair of scissors. There's nothing I can do to help you get in. Sorry. All right. So I work with children and youth. And I am a co-founder and director of International Children's Month, International Children's World, with Shannon and Bob Challenger. Alana is also on our team, as well as we are the children and youth arm for We the World. So we work for love, care, and respect for all the children on earth. And 8 years now, 365 days a year without a single break. And we just had June, which was jam-packed full of beautiful moments. We reached 800,000 people plus so far, you guys, on the 21st. So kudos to you. And here's my big news. Are you ready? Drum roll. I landed a network deal last night with Roku and Apple TV. I know.
That's good.
Oh my God, it's huge. So that happened last night. Hey, you got in. Congratulations. And he got in on his own. Isn't that amazing? So, so the dog here.
I found my own
Oh, you're such a smart boy. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I love you. Give me 2 minutes to meet everybody. Catch everybody up. Hi, Feria. Nice to see you too. Can you make sure the back door's shut, please? I see the dog here next to me. Okay. So, oh yeah, and I just had a really great meeting with, we're also doing the We the World album compilation. So we've got 13 artists, 13 organizations, and 13 songs that are coming out through Sony Music. And I just had a meeting with the label just now. That's what I was doing while you guys were talking. And Dwayne is ready to help us, Angel, with the Google Ads and taking all that straight out into the world, and the YouTube channel that we have and all that jazz. So now we launched selclasses.com. Jamie Margolin is going to teach her book, Youth to Power. That's another big thing that happened yesterday, so yay. I'm teaching, and we are looking and inviting and loving progressive educators internationally who are going to help us create a legion of people who spread everything that people are not getting in education, right, these days. Love, compassion, kindness. Sharon is going to be offering No Judgment, Just Love. She got 40,000 views on her show from the 21st, and Alana rocked it also with her, Alana's in also with her, Alana, what's the title?
Come on, Elena.
Healing from trauma resilience.
Trauma resilience, healing family trauma, that kind of thing. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Nori Huddle is coming on. Butterfly Transformation, famous TED Talk artist. She's 76. So the launch is, it's really powerful what's happening right now. So everything that everyone is doing, thank you so much, because it's all working and it's all happening and it's all very, very exciting. And we have so much opportunity presented to us and so many beautiful people that are coming to the table to work with us. And I just want to congratulate all of you for holding such a beautiful container of love in action with everything that you're doing. I think we are such a strong team, and I think my word is going to be resonance, because I really feel like when we hold resonance for ourselves and others, everyone can flourish. And so I'm going to go with the resonance one. And yeah, there's opportunity for the Welcome to We show. There's opportunity for, for our programming with SEL and classes. There's opportunity for our concerts and the music and videos, there's, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I asked for. So I'm just like rip roaring, and yeah, and I'm making certificates up for people who participated and have participated with International Children's Month and We the World right now. The children, they like certificates and participation awards and, that kind of thing. So just working on those. And I'm finally going to get Sharon her certification for SEL. Yay! Which she did like almost a year ago, but that's okay. Nothing like rolling along with the flow. Thank you for being patient as it all comes together. And I think that's pretty much it.
So Heidi, can you expound on the Roku Hulu thing you mentioned? What's
Not yet, because I just got
Okay.
the offer last night. I met
Okay.
I met these builders, 30-year eco building builders, and along with them came the guy who runs Yes TV. It's Yoga Ascension and something. Yoga Ascension. I'll prepare an email for you guys and let y'all see what's going on once I get it sorted out. Essentially, he told me with one click of a button on YouTube, they can take my entire content from there and plop it right onto TV. And I don't have to do anything. They just click a button and they can transfer the whole thing. And they're working with like really high tech security personnel. They do, what's that racing? what's the racing game? Indy 500? Is that what it's called? They do the streaming for the racing teams. They do the streaming for the NFL. So they hold these really, really huge accounts. Yay. Which means they're solid. You know what I mean? That's good. So they've got really, really big accounts behind them. And yeah.
Okay, well, we'll look forward. So Heidi, I think another thing that maybe adding to the documents, to the WE documents too, might be another way of kind of helping to loop people in, because there is so much going on, you know, so they can kind of say, ooh, this is where I fit, right?
Oh, yay. Yeah. Please sign up as an ambassador on internationalchildren.world. We're going to be having meetings with everybody in here about how best to move forward. I'm looking forward to meeting with Angel. You know, we haven't done that yet, about what we're doing in September. I stayed late on the last World Unity Week meeting to ensure that people understood the thematics of the 11 Days of Global Unity, and that it was perfectly situated to work with what they were already creating, to just solidify that partnership and make sure that it all flowed into. It sounds like they already have honor and respect for what we has done for the last 20 years. So that's a big deal. And it's planted on the website as supporting historical, you know, like with the 11 days. So that looks really good too, Rick. And I don't know, we'll just keep our fingers in the pots and make sure that we help with the co-creating, you know, and I think that everything will be good then. We're going to be doing concerts and videos, and I do the partner organization letters this week for the We the World album. So that's like 13 new organizations.
So yeah, and I think that's a really good point, Heidi, is that in addition to this call, which is really kind of all of us coming together and giving updates on each of the campaigns, that the campaigns themselves go more into depth in their particular area, and they have their own calls, right? So I think we want to continue to do that as well. Just let people know as more and more people join, right? Because we're continuing to grow, right?
Yeah, that's something that's needed, because we were having calls for International Children's Month and we're not anymore. And I wouldn't mind making that bridge really solid for the We Children and Youth campaign and the International Children.world. You were right, Rick? So if we could, you know, Unity Earth has really shown a good model, right? Like they've really proven that it works to have these group calls, and, you know, that people get excited to be involved that way. So I think we could start extending invitations and picking a time to meet, like weekly or bi-weekly, you know, while we're building up the 11 days. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is having individual meetings of the campaigns, the specific campaigns, like the Children and Youth campaign.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think as each one, as is required by each of those. In other words, when that's necessary, then it's good to make that happen. And then these meetings, these Monday meetings, can be when the results are summarized by each of the coordinators.
Yeah,
definitely.
Great.
Is Natalie coming in on Children and Youth? Natalie, are you coming in? Did she choose, or is she just kind of hanging out, checking it out?
No, she is. This is Natalie. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Natalie's kind of first introduction call. She's learning about the campaigns a little bit. She's gonna see what resonates with her heart, and kind of go from there. Was that a good summary, Natalie?
Yay.
Yes, that is. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I had to come in on my phone because my computer wasn't working the sound. So yes, I'm just taking all of it in, and everything sounds great.
Yay. Well, it's nice to see you. You have great energy, I can tell.
And it sounds
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
it
you.
sounds like Sharon needs to go. She needs to really limit this call to an hour. Is that right, Sharon, for yourself? Right. And I think we've kind of been averaging between an hour and an hour and a half. So we might want to revisit that at some point in time. But thank you, Sharon. I'll talk.
Thanks, everybody.
Are you going to be on the call this afternoon? There's another call this afternoon.
Probably not. I have a meeting with Ugoji, and I have another meeting with another person, so I doubt it. What is the meeting about this afternoon, Shannon?
Is there a meeting? Is it this afternoon that is doing the work? Rick, will you want to?
This has to do with the end racism group that was forming with Gail and others.
Oh.
And I think Ugoji and you. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, so that's soon.
Right,
okay,
in about an hour and 20 minutes from now.
Did you send an email link that I missed?
It's the same one we had last week, but I will send that out.
Okay, then I might be able to make that, Shannon. All right, everybody. I love you all. Have a good day.
Bye.
Great. So, so thanks. And let's see. Oh, Mufado. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. What we're doing is just kind of giving, you know, one word of kind of what would create a covenant of safety, or what you would like to see, how you would feel about this particular call, you know, and then giving us an update on what's been happening in your campaign.
Okay, can you just repeat that? I was just, reviewing something else.
Well, there's my covenant of safety. Pay attention. No, I just kidding. Mufado,
Parallel processing.
Yeah, we had talked at the beginning of this call a little bit about, you know, the purpose of the call, basically to update each other about each other's activities, and
correct.
And then also I talked a little bit about how when I facilitated calls like this, one of the things that we've done is kind of create the space, right? And to say what is it that we need or we want to have present while we have these calls. So everybody kind of contributed a word or two around that too.
And I think it makes sense because we want to make sure that the call is efficient and all the updates are provided in a brief way, and we can consider this meeting is like a board meeting, where the time is very precious and everybody provides very, very brief update on what is going on and what is required to move forward.
Right.
And that is exactly what I am doing with my, couple of new developments. I've just shared a video link, which we had with our European partner. We also have a joint venture agreement with Denetco Inc. in Liberia. So these are all exciting people, entrepreneurs, very, very interested in our Wheel of Life Farm School project, along with the bullion, which we are offering to everybody for economic vibrancy. So I agree with you that, one or two very, very brief, a minute kind of an update. And then if anybody has any issues which we need to resolve or help everybody out, we should be doing that. So I think we should be, sort of compacting this meeting from, an hour and a half meeting to maybe, maximum like 50 minutes or something like that. So we can compact it and, it becomes sort of a good way for people to look at when we share with others as to what we are doing, and everybody can sort of, get the gist of all the good things which we are doing in a very brief amount of time.
Right. So with that, Mufado, is there anything in particular you want to update us about in terms of the work that you're doing? I know you did in the group chat.
I just shared, a video, and then our associate Lloyd Halferty is actually, promoting our Wheel of Life Farm School project, which I'm doing in Islamabad. And he loves this concept that, okay, instead of presenting things, people would love to see things in action. And, now we have these sites available. And I mean, it is doable everywhere now. Okay, because it is the need of the time that in these Wheel of Life farm schools, we need to isolate people who are now suffering from COVID-19. Okay, and they are actually spreading this virus like wildfire to others. So these Wheel of Life farm schools in farms and gold mines, which is away from the urban area, people who are affected, can be treated in our 100-bed hospital by providing immunity boosting food and everything else. And then once they recover from this virus, then they have actually developed the immunity. And that plasma, which, we can provide to everybody else, because these people have now found a way of fighting the virus. They've recovered from it, and the plasma will help all the other patients, who are suffering. So I think because of this COVID-19 scenario, and it is, going from bad to worse, everywhere basically. So now this is an ideal solution. And we should be doing this with agility, not as a, project which I've discussed with Heidi to, provide education and training of mothers, to educate their children and provide them with sustainable income and everything. But now it has become urgent to save lives, which is being, sacrificed every day because of people not doing the right things.
So thanks, Bufalo. I appreciate it. And people can, if they want to know more about the Wheel of Life, they can get a hold of you and the farms and kind of what's happening in terms of
Definitely. And I think all the people, since we are all our, different groups of people, are working with really the people who are vulnerable, homeless, people who doesn't have any kind of support. And we need all these people to work on our Wheel of Life farm school. Because we need help, to serve immunity boosting food to 7 billion people. We need a lot of help.
That's right. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All of these people can be accommodated in our program. Yes, Rick.
Rick, go
Yes,
ahead.
well, I just had a question. There's someone who's on the phone. Do we know who that is?
That's Natalie. Natalie needed to
That's
do on
me.
the phone.
Oh, that's you? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you're
I
on
didn't connect it.
two.
Yeah, I couldn't connect it, so sorry about
I
that.
see. I see.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay.
Rick.
Okay.
So, Lucy. Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
So I'm glad that you could join us.
Say that again.
I'm glad that you could join us.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to relate to a new project which is being discussed this evening regarding the question of immigration. People who are wandering around the world trying to find a place they can live without being killed is the main thing. And there's a quite competent law firm headed by a couple of religious leaders which is studying the whole system of laws determining people's right to enter a country. And so if there's anyone who would like to be involved in that discussion this evening, it's 6 o'clock this evening.
Is it 6 Eastern time?
Yes.
And,
Could you send the link?
How would they get to that discussion, Lucy?
So this project is headed by people who are lawyers and have been rather shocked at the negative results that many people who desire a safe place to live meet up with when they come to the border. For example, the border of the United States and the Mexican border. So there's some of the issues that cause this breakdown of friendly communication will be discussed in this meeting this evening at 6 o'clock. So I'm not very good at finding all the connections, but I think that if you go to my website, which is lucylawwebster@gmail.com, you'll find some information about how to get involved in this study of the barriers to entry that have developed in by the United States for people who want to come into this country.
Thanks, Lucy. Yes, Rick?
Yeah, so Lucy, it's good to see you. And the address that you gave is an email address, not a website. So, so I don't know, maybe you can send an email to the,
Who should I send an email to get
Well,
you?
I can coordinate it.
yeah, I mean, you can send it to do a reply to the invitation email that I send out, to all the week coordinators, because it's something that other people might be interested in.
Yes. Can you get? I don't have a note of that. Can you tell me what that would be?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think the best thing is, okay, it's we-coordinators@wetheworld.org. But if you just reply to the emails that I sent out, like the reminder about this meeting today, then it'll go to all of those.
Okay.
All of us are on that list.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that would work. And then Rick, you can get it out to everybody else.
Yeah, you could do that. You could just send it to me if you want. But the other thing, there were two other things I wanted to mention. One is regarding this. It's very relevant for our human rights campaign. So can you connect our human rights campaign with this in some way, especially going forward as we approach 11 days of global unity? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Lucy?
Yes. What would be the address to write that, to send to?
You can send it to me and I'll make sure it gets there. But again, I would have to, you could send it to the whole list, because other than Brielle, who is not on this call, she's the one that's overseeing the human rights campaign. So the other thing is, you are going to be speaking with the CGS people, right? Like Tad Daly and others at CGS, Citizens for Global Solutions, CGS.
Right. I mean, I'm in touch with them, but all the time. But I'm not sure that there's any. Well, Tad Daly has a new book along the same lines as Apocalypse Never, which was his first book on how to avoid a nuclear war. But I don't know exactly how to contact them, but I mean, I do know how to contact them, but I'm thinking that it would be better if you got in touch, if I could get you in contact with the people who are organizing this program on asylum.
Yeah, so you can just add me to an email that you send to them, and add my email as, you know, copying me, and then it's like you can make an introduction that way.
So that would be RICK? No, RIC.
Yeah, that's fine. RICK@wetheworld.org is fine.
Okay, and I can use the and sign, or should I write a
at?
AT?
No, it's the @ sign. It's like you know, like
Yeah,
regular
okay.
email.
rick@wetheworld.com.
.org.
.org. Okay.
Right. That should do it.
So I want to kind of just bring us full circle because I'm aware we've got about 5 minutes left on this call. And I want to be really respectful of people's time because that's something a couple of people added to the covenant. So I neglected to say kind of give my updates. So I want to do that very quickly. One is I am working with Heidi on the International Children's Campaign, Youth and Children's Campaign, and continuing to do that. And with that, I'm also doing storytelling every Sunday night from the Storytelling Wagon. I have a storytelling wagon. And contributing to the Campaign of Unity, hopefully, with and doing the climate collaborative with Sue, and contributing when I can with that. I also said that I had a discussion, and I'm going to join Juliet in doing some work around the campaign of interdependence. And what that really means for me is that when I look at all the campaigns, seeing kind of the interplay between all of these campaigns and being able to identify those and to work a little weaving of those things so that they can be working together, and finding out those places where we can infuse the indigenous knowledge and infuse other kinds of disciplines so that we're all being as comprehensive in this we mentality and this we approach. And so I also just wanted to very briefly let people know there is a call this afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern. Is it 3 o'clock Eastern? 2 o'clock Central. I'll say Central because I know we have several people on here that are in Central Time as well. So, and that is really going to be really focusing in a little more on the discussion about how we, the world, can contribute to the conversation about dismantling racism in this country. And so I think it's brave. I haven't been on one of those calls yet, and but I plan on being on that call this afternoon. I want to leave just kind of, I'm going to add another term to our little list, and the term I'm going to add to our list is intentional resiliency. So I'd like to bring intentional resiliency to these conversations, meaning for me that we're intentional about what we're doing, we're intentional, we're rising up kind of our consciousness so that our actions can follow that intentional way, and we can build the resiliency that we need to have moving forward. So very briefly, I'm gonna just repeat the words because I said I was gonna do that. So some of the words that came up were sacred.
I hate to interrupt,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wanted to point out I haven't shared
Oh, I'm
yet.
so sorry, Rick.
And I haven't given a word yet either.
I need your word. I so need your word. What is your word, Rick?
And before I do that, even I just want to ask: did we hear from Alana yet? I didn't think so, or did I miss
Yes,
that?
we did. We did.
Oh, okay.
You had a little.
I had, yeah. I figured out what there was a technical issue on my computer. So my word that I thought of, and maybe somebody else said it while I was offline, is empathy.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Nobody said that one, Rick.
Okay, very good.
Great. And was there any other update you wanted to give?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just want to reiterate what Angel has said before about this, how it's looking, or it's going to look going forward as we move towards 11 Days of Global Unity in September, that we're going to see if we can have at least 2 or 3 people who are working on each of the campaigns. This way, things are going to be covered with each of the campaigns. Also, I wanted to mention, I don't know, Angel, if you talked about that you and I had a meeting with Anne Marie Verhoeven, I think her name is Verhoeven, and John Raymer about the implementation of 11 days within what Unity Earth is planning in September. Did you talk about that at all, Angel? Okay. So basically what we had built out for World Unity Week, everybody liked that. And so we're going to build on that. And they are for September, they're kind of arranging the whole rollout of their ideas for Unity Earth in September around 11 days. So it's going to be 8 days that would look very similar to what happened during World Unity Week, with what they're calling a multi-Zoom convergence, which is like multiple rooms based a lot on the 11 themes, and maybe some other things like they're going to have a dance room and some other things like that. But a lot of it is going to be focused on the 11 themes. And then what they're calling Peace Weekend is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because the International Day of Peace is on Monday, September 21st. So they like the themes that we have that have to do with those particular days, which are human rights, freedom, disarmament, and peace. And they have some specific ideas about the Peace Weekend, where they're going to roll out Peace on Earth by 2030, which is a program with David Gershon, and some other things. But I just wanted to let you know that things are going to be kind of blown up bigger than they have been with 11 days and the 11 campaigns because of this.
What's the basic title of the event on the 21st of September?
Well, they're calling it Peace Weekend, which culminates on Monday, September 21st.
Nice.
So that's what they're calling it. The nature of what's going to happen during that day, I asked John, if you recall, Angel, I asked John specifically, how is that Peace Weekend going to look different from the convergence events that are happening from September 11th through September 18th? And he said it hasn't been formulated yet, but it will have some differences. And another piece of this is that since there was a lot of movement around the idea of a caravan in September. That the idea of the caravan is still going to be happening. It's just that it'll be digital or mostly digital rather than in person. You know, the caravan was originally conceived to start in San Francisco and move through the United States and wind up in New York for 11 days and the International Day of Peace. However, because of the COVID and all of that, the various partners who had started to formulate plans for the caravan are still going to do what they've been doing. It'll just be more like a digital caravan. So I know, Heidi, you were in conversations about that in the Austin area of the United States, you know, Texas, and Sue. And then there were some other, I'm going to be on a conference call about the caravan in Europe later this week with some folks, including Jude Caravan, who lives in Great Britain. So there are things happening about that, but again, I'm just mentioning that all of these things are going to have heightened attention and involvement with 11 days and the 11 campaigns, because they're making that like a solid sort of fixture of these activities. And it's just going to be good for all of us with each of our campaigns, because as we're building out this the Trello boards for the 11 campaigns, each campaign will have partners, links, videos, you know, all kinds of things related to each campaign, even if they're not happening on the specific day of the particular campaign. You know, like Unity is on September 11th, but there may be Unity events and things on other dates. So those will be listed on the Unity Trello board. Same thing with environment, and all of the things. It's going to be, but people can find out by going to those columns based on the 11 campaigns. They can find out what's going on that day and other days that are associated with that campaign. So just want to mention that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Are you complete?
As complete as I could ever be, which is
So,
not ever.
so that reminds me of one more word I would like to add to the list, and that is that I would like people to give me grace when I mess up and forget to call on somebody. So thank you for forgive me for that. So what I'm gonna do very quickly is just read down this list. We'll put it on the document on our Google Docs, so people can look over it, they can add to it, they can say, that doesn't really resonate with me. Because I think when you create a covenant of safety, as we were calling it earlier, that it's important that people agree to it, right? So if there's something in there that just kind of doesn't feel right, then we can have a discussion about that going forward. So here are some of the words we talked about: being sacred, being having presence, sacred presence, that we're actually going to be in the room together. That it was important that we practice unity and a we mentality. That we have empathy for each other, and that we show support, and that we're respectful of each other's time, knowing that we're all giving of ourselves in this time, and that time is precious, and that we keep our updates as brief as possible, and that we instill hope in the conversation. That hope was really important. And I also heard about perseverance, that we know that sometimes it gets difficult, but that we will persevere, that we will keep that in our hearts, that we move forward, and that we are able to not just listen to each other, but actually hear what each other has to say. That's really important. We also heard about trust, that it was important to assume good intent with each other. So to establish trust, we need to assume that there was good intent. And that we hold, I'm going to make a little adjustment to no judgment, because I think we're judgment making human beings, and say that we hold our judgments lightly. We will notice when they come, and that we will just hold them lightly to be able to give each other grace. And so those are some of the words that we had today. They all sound like really good words to me. So the other thing that we had talked about was to kind of hand over this role of facilitation so that others can actually have an opportunity to facilitate these calls. This putting into practice the practical how we show up as a we team. So with that, who would like to take
Shannon,
on?
my two words are dignity and patience.
Okay, dignity and patience. All right, I will add those. Thank you.
Please, thank you.
And so is there someone that would like to be the next facilitator of the call for next week? Yes, Rick.
I have a question. What do you think about you doing one or two more meetings so people kind of get used to this idea
Yes.
that we're
Mhm.
talking about, and then hand it off at a later date? What do you think about that? And what does everybody think about that?
I think it's a good idea.
Any other thoughts? Anyone else want to comment on that?
Heidi's talking, but we can't hear you, Heidi.
I don't know. I think that everything is going really well. So whatever the group decides, it's good for me. Whatever you guys want to do, sounds good. How did Shannon become the facilitator today? Was that something out of the hat first thing this morning, or how'd that come about?
Actually, Heidi, that's a great question. Rick and I had a conversation, and he asked if I would be willing to do this to facilitate, and I said yes.
Oh, I love it.
Good. Excellent.
You can facilitate
Excellent.
every time if you'd like, Shannon.
Actually, to just be transparent, I would really like it. I mean, I will certainly do it for a few more times, but I would certainly like everybody to have both the opportunity and the experience. Because I think when we step into each other's roles, or we step into each other's shoes, and we step into each other's experience, that really allows us to have even more empathy for each other, right? So, and I definitely would like to thank Rick for all the time that he has facilitated this call and what it
Wonderful,
takes to hold
excellent.
the container for that call. So thank you, Rick. And I just wanted to share one more thing before we get off the phone, and that is when in my tradition, which is Ojibwe, Lake Superior Ojibwe peoples, whenever we close something out, when we've been in a circle or a space together, we say these words. We say, we are all related.
Oh, yes. we
That's
are.
how we end our things, to remember that we're all related. So, Rick, you want to give us the we sign and we'll close?
Yes, and even before that, I want to ask if anyone like Ugoji, for example, would like to be on this list where we are talking about ending racism.
Yes, I do.
Right, so
Yes,
I will.
I'm in.
Okay, and Mufadal, the only downside is it's pretty late for you, so I don't know if you can make it.
What time is it?
3 p.m. New York
Oh,
time.
3 p.m.
So it's a little late for
it's
you,
very
so
early
that's
morning.
the only issue.
On a Monday? Always on a Monday?
We've been doing it sort of roughly an hour after our We Team meeting.
That's a lot of meetings in one day for a mom.
That's true. And the other thing is, just so you know, I can't make it next week. I have another thing, so we might want to change that meeting day anyway. I mean, the meeting time, and possibly the day for the End Racism meeting. But for today, so I'll add you, Ugoji. I'll add you, Mufadal, just so you can be part of the list. Was there anyone else who wanted to be on
You
that?
can add me on the list. I'd love to be able to show up. I don't know how I possibly can, but you know. I'm working on ending racism every second and every breath of every day anyway. So
Right.
my blessings to everyone.
Okay, so Ugoji, Heidi, Mufadal, anyone else? Sue, I think you're already on the list, Sue, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. Okay. And Catherine, I think you're already on that list, right?
Yeah.
And was there someone else?
I would love
to.
Natalie would like on the list. Lucy would like
I
on the
would, but I
list.
can't make it today.
That's okay.
Oh, Natalie, you would like to be on that list?
I would, but I can't make it today because I think it's in 45 minutes and I have another thing.
Yep.
Right, exactly. And Lucy, did you want to be on that list?
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. So I'm gonna add you both, add you all on there. That's about it. And Alana, I think you're, I'm gonna add you to that, or make sure you're on the list, but I know that today is not a good day.
Is she still here?
Yeah, definitely keep me. Yeah, I'm here,
Oh.
honey. Definitely
hi.
keep me on the list. But you know, if I can make it, I will definitely will. We'll just have to go week to week and see how that works out.
Right, and I think Jenna, you're already, you were already on that list. Okay,
Okay, if
that's
I'm
it.
gonna join another
for me.
call, I need to be off.
Right, okay, so it's all about we, that's,
It sure is.
Our
Love you
RW.
guys.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
Love you.
Love you all. Bye-bye.